Jaina Bosonko, and this is QTV News coming to you live from our studios on Kairaba Avenue. Thanks for joining us. And now here are the main local news headlines. The Finance and Public Accounts Committee of the National Assembly on Tuesday convened its annual briefing session with public enterprises and agencies on the mandate and procedures of the committee as well as its expectations. The World Bank Group on Monday published the Gambia Economic Update on economic developments and the development challenges facing the country. The Gambia is one of the first West African countries to receive a new batch of Peace Corps volunteers from the U.S. after a 2-year-long break due to the COVID-19 pandemic. We investigate recently unverified claims about fish smokers using the insecticide sniper on fish for preservation. A school in Janjambure in the Central River region has been forced to regularly close early following severe water shortage in the area. Those were the main headlines, and now the news in detail. Do stay with us. Thank you for joining us, and I am Jaina Bosonko. Now, the Finance and Public Accounts Committee of the National Assembly on Tuesday convened its annual briefing session with public enterprises and agencies on the mandate and procedures of the committee, as well as its expectations. As Alusisa reports, the briefing was attended by the Vice President, Cabinet Ministers and heads of departments and agencies.
The purpose of the pre-committee hearing briefing is to highlight the policy direction of the committee in relation to its operations and oversight role in the public institutions as the committee prepares to commence sittings on 20th June. The Finance and Public Accounts Standing Committee is entrusted with exercising the functions of the National Assembly in considering and advising on all matters connected to public finance and public accounts. Flanked by his Vice Chairperson and members of the committee, Honorable Alaji S. Dabo, Chairperson of the FPAC Committee, informed the gathering that the mandate of the committee includes, but is not limited to, identifying, monitoring, and collaborating with all ministries, departments, and agencies of the government responsible for public finance matters.
During the course of the 5th legislature, public institutions were submitting their activity reports and audited financial statements to a portfolio select or standing committees for scrutiny. However, this was not yielding the desired results. There was no proper coordination on the reporting and, in some instances, non-compliance with the law. Accordingly, the Bureau of Committees, which is tasked by the Assembly to set the policy direction of the committee operations, met and resolved that moving forward, the scrutiny of all public accounts shall be the sole responsibility of the Finance and Public Accounts Committee, FPAC, except for 13 commercial state-owned public enterprises whose accounts shall be submitted to and scrutinized by Public Enterprises Committee, PEG.
FPAC sittings will be from 28th June to 30th October 2022 to consider the audited accounts and financial statements of the Government of the Gambia, of all public agencies, departments, independent or autonomous public institutions, area councils, tertiary education institutions, and all public hospitals.
Engagement with the Finance and Public Accounts Committee takes precedence over all other engagements. Thus, once an officer or institution is summoned to appear before the committee and give excuses for not appearing without a prior authority from the chairperson, he or she or they will be in contempt of committee and will in consequence be subject to a sanction, nature of which will be determined by the committee.
Nonetheless, other select committees will continue to perform oversight function roles and are at liberty to request any document, summon, or conduct any oversight visits on institutions within their remit. While the FPAC committee is concerned by the backlog of non-submissions of audited financial reports of many institutions due to various reasons, the committee commended institutions that are compliant, including the Gambia Revenue Authority, for being up to date with the submission of their audited financial reports from 2016 to 2020. Honorable Alajimbo, Vice Chair of the committee, said not being up to date is unacceptable.
We have institutions that are actually very close to being compliant with the law. That's the Constitution and the Public Finance Act. But we also have some institutions, for some unknown reasons, they've been behind by more than 5 years, and we cannot accept that anymore.
The FPAC committee said going forward it will implement the law regarding the 3 months and 6 months requirement for agencies and government respectively to submit reports. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
The World Bank Group on Monday published the Gambia Economic Update on economic developments and the development challenges facing the country. Loli M. Kamara attended the event and fastened this report.
Government officials, researchers and the World Bank officials gathered to discuss the country's economic outlook, the structural reforms needed and the development challenges. Discussion panels addressed topics such as the micro-poverty overview findings and using data for better human capital, among other topics. Nathan Mbeliti, the World Bank country director, said the Gambia was hit hard by the coronavirus pandemic in 2020 but began to recover in 2021, despite a global travel ban during 2020. Due to the high inflow of official remittances and agricultural growth, the country performed better initially than in previous years.
The fiscal and current account deficits have begun to widen in 2021 as the government sought to kickstart the economy and invest in its infrastructure, but public debt has declined relative to GDP. Inflation picked up again in 2021 after cooling in 2020.
The World Bank country director further stated that lockdown measures initially caused widespread of job losses and high levels of food insecurity, but pandemic-related support measures have helped support the poorest households. Thus, poverty levels are estimated to have fallen in 2021. CDM Keta, the Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, states that the government has embarked on a series of reforms to improve the country's tax administration and streamline tax expenditure. This includes the establishment of the Tax Policy Unit within the Directorate of Economic Policy and Research, under which a comprehensive tax policy for the country will be developed.
This report will serve as a guide to a comprehensive review of our policies, with keen focus on recent economic developments and our economic outlook. The challenges ahead of us will be weathered if we focus on the priorities we've set for ourselves. It will provide useful policy recommendations to spur growth and progress on our path to bouncing back better.
The report on the economic update indicates that the outlook as having been reduced by the global contagion from the war in Ukraine, even though the Gambia is a net importer of food, fertilizer and fuel. As a result, GDP growth is forecast to decelerate to 5.6% in 2022, compared to a pre-crisis forecast of 6.2%. Inflation is expected to stay high in the medium term, eroding household incomes as global supply disruptions and high commodity prices continue, which the report adds calls for a cautious monetary policy. The services sector is projected to grow by 7.2% in 2022. Agriculture should grow by 2.0% in 2022, assuming favorable weather, and industrial output by 4.9% in 2022. On the demand side, remittances are expected to continue supporting private consumption and investment in construction and improve the external position. GDP growth is expected to rise to 6.2% in 2023, 3.3% per capita, and to 6.5% in 2024, 3.6% per capita. For QTV News, Loli M. Kamara.
Interesting statistics, or let's say revelations there. Now, the Gambia is one of the first West African countries to receive a new batch of Peace Corps volunteers from the U.S. After a 2-year-long break due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the current batch of Peace Corps volunteers arrived in the Gambia on Monday evening and were received by the U.S. ambassador to the Gambia. Mamadou Lamin Choi has more.
The Gambia is one of the more than 141 countries to which the United States sends Peace Corps volunteers. When the pandemic hit, Peace Corps volunteers were evacuated to the United States, their country of origin. The U.S. ambassador to the Gambia, Sharon L. Kroma, together with personnel from Peace Corps the Gambia, welcomes 4 Peace Corps volunteers at the Banjul International Airport.
The Gambia is blessed with natural beauty and wonderful, welcoming, warm people. Understand that what you receive from the Gambia is a direct reflection of what you give to the Gambia. If you show appreciation for the culture, the history, the challenges that people have to undertake, the successes that they have, Gambians will receive you with an abundance of kindness.
The Peace Corps is known to have a rich heritage and regarded as a soft power strategy explored by the U.S. for international development and citizen diplomacy over its more than 60 years of existence. Its mission is to promote world peace and friendship. Ambassador Cromer reminds the newly arrived volunteers of their role to further strengthen the U.S.-Gambia relations while advancing the Peace Corps' goals.
As you begin your service, understand that you all are ambassadors. All of you are ambassadors. You represent the best of the U.S. Your individual service journey will impact schools, teachers, children, and entire communities.
Later this week and in October this year, more Peace Corps volunteers are expected to arrive in the Gambia. As a usual process in their voluntary service, new Peace Corps volunteers will first undergo language and culture training in the Lower River region and will finally be posted to rural communities for a 2-year-long voluntary service. Most Peace Corps volunteers in the Gambia are part of the education group as teacher trainers who will be working in rural schools, teaching pupils and building the capacity of teachers. Kelly Young is the country director of Peace Corps de Gambia.
We are also very happy to see you, and everyone here is waiting to support you to serve within the communities in the Gambia. You're already witnessing the amazing support that you will receive over the next 2 years, and so I want you to take it all in and feel welcome.
On September 22, 1961, legislation signed by former U.S. President John F. Kennedy gave birth to the United States Permanent Peace Corps.
I have today signed an executive order providing for the establishment of a Peace Corps on a temporary pilot basis. I'm also sending to Congress a message proposing authorization of a permanent Peace Corps. This Corps will be a pool of trained men and women sent overseas by the United States government or through private institutions and organizations to help foreign countries meet their urgent needs for skilled manpower. I'm hopeful that it will be a source of satisfaction to Americans and a contribution to world peace.
6 years later, in September 1967, the first Peace Corps volunteers arrived in the Gambia at the invitation of the Gambia government. Since then, the Gambia has so far received nearly 2,000 Peace Corps volunteers. Mahmoud Lamin Choi, QTV News.
Welcome to the Smiling Coast. Now from that story, we will now go for a short commercial break. And when we come back, we have some more local news stories for you. Do stay tuned.
The Gambia's Goods Market is back again for 2022 season of remarkable variety of locally sourced products by young, innovative Gambian entrepreneurs in fashion, accessories, handicraft, health and beauty, and agro-processed and local foods. To see innovative and creativity at work, visit the Gambia's Goods Market every first Saturday of every month at the GT Bank Senegambia branch premises, starting from April 2022 to August 2022 from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. to own any number of quality and standard products at reasonable prices. This year's monthly market will highlight an additional display of skills and raw talent, providing entertainment and demonstrative art, featuring cultural and modern dancers, drumming, hairdressing, photography display, as well as live mind-blowing paintings. We are proud of this entrepreneurship revolution in the Gambia. This is powered by the Gambia Youth Chamber of Commerce and the Youth Empowerment Project. Yep.
To make sure your company's products and services reach your potential customers, it is essential that you choose the right channel for your marketing purposes. QTV has the widest reach locally and beyond, and we can give your business the visibility it needs. Call QTV Marketing on +220 324 4444 or email us at marketing@qtv.gm and take your business to the world.
Welcome back from that break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News, and I am Jenna Bosonko. Now, following on verified reports about fish smokers using insecticide sniper on fish for preservation, which caused public concern, QTV's Ejibintu Drama visited the fishing village of Tanje to investigate these claims. This is her report.
The audio about the claims have been circulating on social media for the past week. Given the allegations, this has caused alarm among the public, particularly as these claims came a week after authorities banned the sale of sniper due to its misuse as an indoor insecticide. On visiting the fish smoking site at Tanje village specifically, the fish smokers who have been working at the site for decades debunked the claim, describing it as false and irrational as they also eat the fish. Safi Mane, a fish smoker, has been working at the fish smoking site for over 30 years, explains. Well, for me, I am not among those that do that dubious act. I have been in this business for decades. I cannot speak on other people's behalf. I can just talk for myself. I don't use that chemical. Varieties of fish are preserved in this place, including drying, salting, and smoking. The smokers claim that, as they do not have any modern method to preserve the fish, they use salt with lime or lemon and vinegar on the fish to preserve them. Alaji Kamara, also a fish smoker, explains.
I've been here for 20 years when this place was completely deserted, and I have never seen anyone using sniper to preserve fish. People are engaged in that unlawful act. If people are engaged in that unlawful act, I'm urging them not to do that. I repeat, I have neither heard nor seen that before.
Mama Mane, a fish smoker, also debunked the claims as false, saying that if the claims were true, they would not have survived, as they also eat the fish that they smoke. She urges other fish smokers elsewhere to also refrain from such dubious acts, if at all they do that. If we were using sniper on our fish, we would have died by now. We eat the fish. I peel the fish, dry and parcel them to send to my son in Denmark. They would have detected the chemical there. And here, while walking, we also eat the fish. How can a person eat fish treated with sniper? I have never heard of it. Sniper has become popular in its use as an indoor insecticide due to its affordability and effectiveness in killing insects and rodents. Health experts have warned of its dangerous effects, especially on the respiratory organs. Inhalation, absorption through the skin, ingestion, and eye contact are the various ways a person may be exposed to the associated risk of sniper. Due to its misuse, the NEA banned the use or sale of sniper last week. To reassure the public, and despite the claims being refuted by fish smokers, the Food Safety and Quality Agency has announced the setting up of a task force to investigate the allegations. Ajipintu Drame, QTV News.
Now we wait for the task force report. Now, the newly elected councillors for Sanyang and Marakisa Ward were sworn in on Monday at the Birkama Area Council following their victory in the 14th May 2022 local government by-election. Omar Pijalo attended and filed this report.
Boto Bojang of Sanyang Ward and Sidi Nyasi of Marakisa Ward took their oath of office at a ceremony at the Birkama Area Council chambers. They replaced Modu Bojang and Lamin Jaju, who resigned their positions to contest the April 9 National Assembly election. Srifo Sonko, the chairman of Birkama Area Council, pledged the council's full support to bring development projects to their areas. Sonko adds that despite their political differences and divergent views, they should all work to serve the best interests of their people.
I want to congratulate the elected councillors on their historic victory. I have no single doubt that there is great potential to make this region more advanced, and I urge the elected councillors, that elected officials, to set aside political consideration and execute constitutional duties to address pressing issues affecting us as people. That will require a deliberate effort, individually, collectively, and on the part of each and every one of us. We share a vision of a better and a more advanced West Coast region.
Lamin Sane, the governor of West Coast region, expressed delight and called on all the councillors to work towards serving the interests of their people and the country.
You sworn in for the Constitution and the Local Government Act of the Gambia that you're going to serve the people diligently in line to your duties. These are very strong words that all of us are committed to. Political parties, party time is good. You party, you go to a platform and win election. That is one phase. The next phase is, how do I serve my community and my people?
Boto Bojang and Sidi Nyasi, the newly elected councillors, said despite representing different political parties, they will work towards a common objective of serving their electorates.
I'm not here only for UDP, and I'm ready to serve the entire Sanyang ward. And I have already started that, and I've already manifested that this last weekend. So I told my people that campaign is over, party politics is over. It's now time for development. So I will urge all of them to join hands together to ensure that we have a better Sanyang ward.
During the campaign, I appeared as a political figure. I appeared as a party figure. But the day I was declared elected by the IEC to represent the ward, I am no more a party figure. I am a figure that is going to represent the ward. I am a figure that is going to represent Brikama South. I am a figure that is going to represent West Coast region and the Gambia at large, and no more a party figure.
Modu Jonga, the Chief Executive Officer of the Brikama Area Council, administered the oath of secrecy and allegiance. The General Council of the Brikama Area Council constitutes 28 elected councillors and 9 nominated members representing the business community, chiefs, youths and women, differently able, livestock, vendors, agriculturists and gardeners. Monday's swearing-in ceremony was attended by party supporters of the United Democratic Party and the National People's Party and senior staff of the council. Reporting for KTV News, I am Omar P. Jallo.
Now, a school in Janjambure in the Central River region has been forced to regularly close early following a severe water shortage in the area. According to reports, some students resorted to using water from the river. Ibrahim Jallo visited Sierra's administrative town, and this is his report narrated by Babu Karsise.
Whether for domestic or other uses, access to safe and readily available water can enhance one's quality of life. Schools, which are mostly congested, are expected to have a proper water and sanitation system to prevent the spread of diseases, among other reasons. Alaji Kamara, the principal of Janjambure Upper Basic School, explained some of the strategy they use at the school to help cope with the water shortage.
This started a bit long time ago, but when it started, we came as a school together and said, look, we don't know when this is going to end. Let's come up with strategies that can help us to continue on teaching and learning. The school taxed itself to buy gallons so that we can fill those gallons and put them in the classrooms. When the water is gone, the students can use those gallons. We went for 2 weeks with that. We said, no, that's not enough. Because what happens is, sometimes in the morning we come, there is no water in the school. We said to the students, now, provide your own Evian bottles, fill them at home, come with them to school. So by the time that will finish, there will be water and we can fill the gallons. And when we were with that also, we said, now, what about the sanitary issue also, because the toilets have to be used. So we deployed caretakers to draw water from the river so that students can use the toilets.
Maria Majane, the head girl of Janjambure Upper Basic School, urges the government to help them tackle the water shortage.
We are just urging the government to help us with this water issue because it has really affected our learning here. Some of us here will even dog to school because we don't have enough water in the school, so they just leave the school like that and go. So that one is a big problem to us now.
Paul K. Mendy, the Regional Education Director, explained that schools in the island did not close as reported elsewhere, but students who attend afternoon classes are allowed to go home early due to water scarcity.
The morning shift was on full session, but the afternoon shift they closed early, around 4 o'clock, because the water then at hand got finished. But I don't want to accept that schools in the island, there was no teaching and learning taking place. Yes, we do face challenges, but as institutions, we have a role to play. Our role is to cover the syllabus. What do we do when you have those challenges?
The lack of clean water can have serious effects on students' academic performance and attendance rates. Using unsafe or contaminated water can cause illnesses including stomach pains, diarrhea, and other health complications. Babakar Sise, QTV News.
A very unfortunate situation there. So that is all we have time for in this edition of QTV News. Join us at 10 for another bulletin. Thanks for watching.